So over in Poland, over the weekend, they were doing their elections for who's going to be the parliamentary party in charge over there. Up until recently, for the past, I think it's 7 or 8 years, it was, what's the party called, Callum?
Piss Party.
Piss Party, yes. The Law and Order Party.
I was going to say, that does translate into something respectable.
Yeah, the Law and Justice Party, however, sadly, it does have the initials PIS, so it is the Piss Party.
People would keep saying it's pronounced peace. I don't care. That still sounds like piss. Like in English, that's what it sounds like.
Callum doesn't care. They've
want to guess what the other party's initials are?
No.
All right.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you then.
It was.
I know. I said I didn't want to guess.
It was PO.
PO. God. I mean, this is the place that,
and they were in second place, and now
as you did in the most
become number one.
Well, they're not number one, but they sadly look like they'll be able to form a coalition with a few other parties in the centre right and the centre left to be able to take the parliament over. And so that's what it's saying in here in this article. So they're being headed by Donald Tusk, everybody's favourite former EU Commission head, I believe it was.
EU nationalist.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've seen a bit of this. Isn't he like flanking them to the right on this?
He is. And that's the interesting thing. And there is a lot of controversy. That's why it's trouble in paradise, because even without all of the parliamentary goings on in the elections, it does seem like Poland has a bit of controversy going on behind the scenes regarding the migration policies and how it's being administered.
Right.
Which we'll get into as we go on. But just to cover what's been going on with the election itself. So he's heading a civic coalition. He's the head of the Poo Party, but he's got a civic coalition. They're projected. This is all coming from an Ipsos exit poll so far. So the actual proper results should be coming tomorrow morning, but everybody is reacting to this already. And I've seen some doom mongering from those on the right, and I've seen a lot of celebration coming from those on the left. So I thought it'd be relevant to cover.
Hi folks, we've rolled out a new feature on the website, which is the ability to pay for an individual piece of content. So usually it's £5 a month every month to subscribe to all of the content on the website. But I appreciate there are going to be people who simply don't want to do that. They would be interested instead in purchasing a single piece of content for a lower amount, and they've got a particular niche that they're interested in watching. And so they don't want every single piece of content. They just want this one thing. So we've introduced this function where you can just simply purchase the one thing for £1.89, which I think is about $2.30 at the current exchange rates. And then that's just yours forever. So there's no sort of commitment there. There's no rolling subscription. It's just that one thing. So that's an option now that's on the website. It's completely live. It's completely available. And please go and enjoy it. And we'll see you all very soon.
Right now. So
I'll be joining the doom-mongering, yeah.
Yeah. They're currently projected to gain 248 seats as a coalition in the 460-seat lower house of parliament, while the Law and Justice Party gained 200 and 231 seats are needed for a majority. So if they form this coalition, they will be in charge. The leader of the Law and Justice Party, Jaroslaw Kaczynski, has said that he has hope. He said, regardless of whether we're in power or whether we're in opposition, we will implement this project in various ways and will not allow Poland to be betrayed, because even if they're a minority, they're a decent-sized minority.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll be able to influence some kind of effect in Parliament. And also, the president of Poland, who I think is in charge of who actually creates the government first, is a former member of the Law and Justice Party and is on their side. Currently, he's independent, but he's on their side. So it might be that the president allows them the chance at forming a government first before the coalition can get it together. But Donald Tusk and all the people in his coalition are already celebrating like they've won off the back of this poll.
Yeah.
He said that he's vowed to improve relations with the European Union.
Oh, what a shock.
What a big shock.
Average European nationalist.
Yeah, he's leading with the centre-right, Third Way and left-wing Luica.
They literally have a party called the Third Way.
Yes, they do.
Not like that.
Well, I guess not, but like...
Yeah, the turnout as well has been quite impressive. It said it's at 72.9%, which is the highest since the fall of communism in 1989.
Right, okay.
So that's how important this is, because whatever faults we're going to discover with the current ruling party, they have done an excellent job, for the most part, of keeping the refugees and the migrants out and keeping Poland safe. And they've also...
I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, go on.
There's a very recent scandal, which
well, that's what we'll get to later on. That's the scandal. And like I say, from this, people are saying that this is what we're going to be seeing in Poland soon. Donald Tusk aligns with Germany, France, and the failed immigration policies of Europe. So here's pro-Hamas protesters in Berlin attacking the police. So this might be coming to a street in Warsaw soon.
Yeah.
And End Wokeness highlighted that at the moment they've got, under the current leadership, lowest unemployment rate, very high GDP. You've been talking about how their economy has been on the up and up over the past few years. Very low debt, no jihadi terror attack, not very many illegal immigrants.
Love my zeros.
Hang on. We just appreciate for a minute that having 0 jihadi terror attacks is now considered like some kind of...
This is a sign of success in Europe.
High society. You've made a very successful country here.
We've all seen those maps, haven't we, where it's the dots of all of the jihadi attacks.
Yeah, and there's just nothing in Poland.
And there's nothing in Poland. So I hope that won't change soon, because Poland seems like a lovely place. I know
it is, yeah.
I know plenty of people from Poland because a lot of them migrated to the north in the past 25 years.
Yeah.
And for the most part, although I've known a few benefit scroungers in my time,
sure,
unsurprisingly, they're very nice people and they do have good, hardworking values.
They're civilized.
Yeah, and they've got also strong identity, and in the highlight here, strong Christian culture. And that's one of the attacks that came from Donald Tusk when he re-entered into Polish parliament.
You guys have 0 terror attacks. We need to change that.
Well, that's the thing. He's back in 2021 when he reintroduced himself into this, and it was very unpopular at the time when he came back. All like 60%. I think in this article from 2021, it mentions about 60% of respondents said no, go away.
Only 60%.
Only 60%, but that's still a majority of people.
Yeah.
But he said in here that he was returning because to lead the charge against PiS, which has seen relations with
Carry on.
Seen relations with Brussels sour thanks to accusations that it's backsliding on democracy.
PiS has failed us. We need to vote poo. God damn it, Poland.
And then you've got Confederation over there with Mickey, who are literally Pepe posting.
Yeah. Confederate flag posting.
Only poo can get us back in the good books of the EU. They apparently were undermining the rule of law, curbing media freedom, and here's the big one, unleashing attacks on the LGBTQ plus community. So what you're saying there is basically they're not a third world modern liberal S-hole like most of what Democrat America is, what lots of England is. They're not propagandizing the children.
I'm just like, calm down, Donald Tusk. I already support them.
Yes. And he stated that the evil that PiS is performing... I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll stop. Evident, shameless...
saying the name of the party.
I'm sorry. Shameless.
Maybe we should go for the English translation.
Yeah, and permanent. It's happening every day in almost every matter. Can you believe that they're not propagandizing your children? Can you believe that they're not letting women... I think Poland has one of the strictest abortion laws.
There are just so few gay communists
aborting children now.
In Poland.
Yeah, so because it's
look at this evil.
It's not just immigration; it's also the cultural policies that a lot of Poland is in support of, because they look at what's happening to the rest of the West and they go, "Well, we don't want that.
Yeah,
we definitely don't want that."
But obviously, there's a sizable number in Poland who are just like, "Yeah, I just really want to transition my child."
Yeah, are there that many people who want that in Poland?
Not yet. Not yet. But once the media's opened up to be allowed to throw it in everybody's faces, you can guarantee that a lot of people will suddenly change their mind. But then again, maybe they won't, because Poland still has, as we mentioned, strong values right now, but the population has not yet been replaced. So we'll see what happens in 15 years. Well, that's the thing, because once again, this might be copium. This might be a state of, well, Keir Starmer circa 6 months ago trying to strafe conservatives to the right and then turning right back around and going, actually, no, I am still an insane Labour communist. But this was what was being reported earlier this year, that Donald Tusk was actually going really hard on the anti-immigration stance to try and say that the Law and Justice Party had failed a lot of Poland in here. And I'll read through some of this. So he was raising fears about Muslim immigrants ahead of the parliamentary election. He released a series of social media videos that went viral, where he warned that they were trying to distract public attention by denouncing EU migration plans, which would, and that's one of the other things. He's very, very in with the EU.
Yes.
And they have lots of plans that they've been putting forward that Poland has been in a lot of trouble recently for opposing.
Yeah, they fined Poland for not taking refugees.
So given, I don't know how he can make these claims when he's buddy-buddy with all...
Because he's a two-faced liar. Well, that's why.
That's true. He's a politician.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot. But which wouldn't actually see any people arriving in Poland. That's a very nice thing for him to say, isn't it? Oh, this EU plan that I'll definitely be going ahead with. No, it wouldn't bring anybody in.
We won't bring them to Poland. It'll take them to
Open
Germany.
borders migration
Or
plans.
France.
Yeah, open border migration plans have never increased migration anywhere, obviously. But he did say that they would be opening the door to mass migration from Muslim countries. Musk said that Kaczynski is preparing a document that will allow even more people to come from countries like Saudi Arabia, India, the Islamic Republic of Iran, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, and then also Nigeria and Pakistan, and accused the government of bringing in 130,000 people from those countries last year, 50 times more than when Tusk's party was still in power in 2015.
So that's the point that you wanted to get to, isn't it? As in,
Well, I think there's more to the scandal as we'll go on, because
right, okay.
he said obviously a lot of the country already has lots and lots of Ukrainian refugees, but that's much more understandable because of the situation in Ukraine and also the cultural connection.
Well, there's actually a war going on there.
I know, big shock. But the Polish security agency estimated about 6.5% of working people in Poland are foreign, but that'll be still a lot of Ukrainians there.
Yeah.
In 2021, a record 500,000 work visas were issued to foreign nationals, 24% more than in 2020 and 8 times more than 2015. Last year's number was only slightly lower at 470,000.
So Poland's getting about half the immigration we're getting. Amazing.
Supposedly, but that's visas. That's visas. They're not necessarily coming straight into Poland because, I mean, this is from the best I could find outside of these articles, for instance, on Statista from 2021, goes up to net migration being tops 3.4 thousand people. And even then, mostly from Ukraine. Obviously, it will have changed a lot in 2022, and we're about 2 years removed, but these are the most recent. So, but they're saying over the past 30 months is when all of those people were let into the country and when all of those visas were handed out to people. So where was the information coming from? Well, I'll read through some of this. So the opposition claimed that thousands of work visas for migrants were fast-tracked without proper checks in exchange for large sums of money.
Oh, really?
Authorities had said the scheme may have involved several hundred Polish work visas being issued in countries in the Middle East, as well as India, the Philippines, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Donald Tusk had stated that some 250,000 Polish work visas had been issued in Africa and Asia over the past 30 months in exchange for bribes, although he did not specify where his information came from. Now, I looked into some other information. It said basically there was a diplomat who anonymously spoke to a private radio station called Z, who said that if you're in Africa and you go to the Polish embassy in your local country, you would often find a stand next to the embassy where some guy would just take a bribe of $5,000, take your name, and hand you a visa.
Brilliant.
And of course, what's the reason people noticed that is that the Polish media was citing sources in the Foreign Ministry and the Law and Justice Party themselves, who reported that the scandal came to light after other EU states noticed an unusually high number of migrants entering with Polish visas. So obviously, you get the visa, you get into Europe, and then the Schengen Agreement,
you can go
Schengen zones, you can just go anywhere. So they're using it as their free ticket to get into Europe in the first place.
Oh.
When the scandal first surfaced, the deputy foreign minister in charge of the consular matters, Peter Warzik, was sacked, and his department was also raided by Poland's anti-corruption agency. So, is this what you were going to speak about, Cal? Do you have any extra information?
There seems to be more to this than that. So, I put an image in there for John. I want to put it up for me. Now, I'm not an expert on Polish politics. I'm not going to sit and pretend to know damn thing about it, frankly.
Me neither. I'm reporting what I've been able to find on this.
But I got some friends there who I speak to and try and find out what's going on. And the image I'm loading up here is just from Wikipedia. You can see the work permits issued by year to each country of citizenship. And you can see the massive growth in the ones that I've highlighted in red there.
Yeah.
And all of those countries seem to have something in common, which is that they're not that rich. So, okay, why is there a massive amount of movement of them? We're going to ignore the Ukrainians because of the situation.
Sure.
Side note, when I spoke to our friend in Poland, he mentioned that most of the Ukrainians immediately bloody left.
Well,
and went to Germany.
Oh, really?
Why wouldn't you?
So
Germans are giving out free money.
So I asked him, because I didn't know about this, he brought it up to me, in fact. He said that what happened is that someone had a brilliant idea in the immigration department. One minister thought, you know what? I love privatization. Privatization is great. What if I privatize visas?
I am now a libertarian. Is that the argument that was going?
It's more I like money by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because he decided that...
That's the I am a libertarian.
So he privatized visas, which, given incentives for profit, will only mean selling visas.
Yes.
So the 5 companies that got the contract, or whatever it was, immediately went to, as you can see, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Bangladesh. and were like, "Hey, boys, literally just sign on the dotted line. We'll get you into the EU." And the one advantage they have got is most of these people will bugger off out of Poland. Most likely, but not all of them.
Well, that's why it seems that the actual immigration numbers into the country are still quite low, because they're just using it as a funnel to get into the rest of the EU.
Maybe.
That's not good. And
no, that's not good for anybody.
And that's 2022, that growth there. 2023 will be even more extreme. And I mean, this is two lessons. One, never privatize immigration. What are you, mental? And number two, it really does take one minister, one corrupt bastard to ruin everything. And that's just painful to learn.
Yes. Yes, it is. So sorry to break everybody's hearts on Poland right now. And so, as much as Donald Tusk is going with his hard nationalist anti-immigration policy, he is, at the end of the day, a pro-EU liberal.
An open borders EU globalist.
Yes. So I'm not expecting things to get better for Poland. And all I can really say about that is I'm sorry to break it to you.
If you appreciated that episode of the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the premium videos we do, this one on the politics of Brazil. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.